everybody, it's Jess here with Bless Jess. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new, I'm a mom of 3, a wife, and a stay-at-home mom slash YouTuber. I'd love to take you guys around our life and our family and all the things we cook and do, and you'll just get to be like a fly on the wall. Today is gonna be kind of like a chatty video because I didn't vlog yesterday, but I kind of want to tell you guys what happened. Layla's in here hanging out with me. So I ended the last vlog with me saying like it's been a crazy day. Lucy and David had gotten in a fairly minor car accident. It had been crazy. Like Mark had been into all kinds of trouble, making a mess all day, and I had Nate's teacher over discussing Nate moving to junior high, and I had all these like emotions with that. It had just been a long day, so I ended the video about 7:30. I went out of this room and we'd already given Nate his melatonin right before I did the video. I went out and he was in his bed, which is really weird. My 9-year-old who has autism, Nate, he does not just lay in his bed. It's like we have to make him go to bed. He would stay up 24/7, I think. And I was like, "What's wrong, buddy?" And he said something about sick, feeling sick or something. And I was like, "Oh no, what hurts?" So I was trying to get him to talk to me and tell me. Nate has very limited ability to, he speaks, but it's very scripted. So it's things he's heard. He uses them in the correct context mostly, but he pulls like different phrases from TV shows and different things that he's watched, and he uses them in conversation. It's very weird unless you like know him. And he is amazing because he has like this memory bank of all these scripts. And he uses them in context. Sorry, I'm beeping. But when you're trying to get him to tell you like what hurts, what's going on, and you can like see him thinking, and it's always like he's thinking through how to say it or how to use whatever script he's heard or something. And we are working on more spontaneous speech. It's a big goal for him. And I am seeing it sometimes. Anyway, he was talking about how Peppa or George were sick or something. And I'm like, "No, what's wrong with you?" So he finally tells me, "I am not going to throw up." And I was like, "Oh no, doesn't sound good." So I ran him to the bathroom and I was like, "If you need to throw up, you can go in the potty." And he was saying, "No, no, no, no." And just kind of pacing around, which I recognize that because I do that when I don't want to throw up either. I'm like pacing around like, "Please, I don't want to throw up." So he sits on the toilet and he throws up everywhere. So y'all know that I had just mopped. And Mark had like spilled apple juice all over the floor. He had spilled dog food and water all over the floor. Like we've had several cleanups. I had gotten the mop out like 3 or 4 times and had to remop areas. So he threw up and I was like, of course, on the day I mopped the floors, which was very rare, I have to mop again. So we got it all cleaned up. And as soon as he threw up, he goes, "I feel better." And I'm like, "Oh, good." So he goes to sleep around 8:30 by this point. And Mark goes to sleep like normal. I'm a little shaken up. Anytime my kids are sick, like I can't rest well. I'm sure it's a mom thing. I mean, maybe it's just me. I don't think it's just me though, because I feel like lots of people do that. You're like trying to sleep, but you have one ear open, I kept checking the monitor because we have a camera. Layla's being very loud in the background. We have a camera in Nate's room and in Mark's room because I like to just be able to peek and see what's going on because Nate can wake up at all hours of the day or night. I guess he never sleeps during the day. And then Mark is 19 months old, so I just like to be able to look at them. And actually the monitor I have has like a split screen so I can get a good look at both of them at the same time. So I fell asleep at about 11:30. I had only been asleep maybe an hour or so. Mark wakes up and Nate wakes up. I'm not sure who woke up who, but they were both up. And Nate was just kind of talking. He didn't seem like he was upset. I went in there and said, "Are you going to throw up again?" He's like, "No, no." So he seemed okay. I tried to like put Mark's passy in his mouth. Nothing was helping. Like he was just really mad. I think Mark was more teething than anything. But of course I didn't know that at the time. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, is he about to throw up? So from like 11:30 to 12:30, I just kept kind of going in there and checking on everybody, and everybody was just kind of chilling out in their bed talking. So I'm thinking like, then I started thinking, I don't really feel that great. Like my stomach kind of hurts too, and I'm kind of congested. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what if we have COVID? Because I've heard that the COVID Delta variant, there's a lot more gastric symptoms and stuff. People are having nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. And I've had allergy symptoms, so I have had congestion, but stuff. I'm just going, oh my gosh, I feel really congested, like a little bit of a sore throat. What if I have COVID? So what if Nate has COVID? What if we all have COVID? And then we're going to be quarantined and everything's going to be crazy. So I started looking up like 1 in the morning at this point, where to go to get COVID tested. And I like was looking around trying to figure out like, can I make an appointment online somewhere? Because I don't know. I don't want to like go into somewhere that we're gonna have to like wait and see a doctor, because he really has only thrown up one time. I don't really feel like he needs to see a doctor, but I would like to know if this is COVID or not, because I feel like a doctor would just say it's probably viral. I mean, they may be able to test him for COVID there, but anyway, I just thought if we could just find somewhere that just could do a test, we wouldn't have to like wait for an appointment and all that. So I found our local health department or whatever, pointing me in the direction of a place that does COVID tests. So I was able to schedule Nate an appointment. And I thought, as I was making his appointment, you know what? I'm going to have to take him. It's going to be an ordeal because he has autism and he's not going to go friendly. He's not going to be friendly to someone sticking a swab up his nose. Why don't I just go ahead and get one too, since I'm not feeling that great, and he can watch me get the COVID test, and then we'll know, like, both of us if we have COVID. And then if we do, the other people in our family can get tested. If we don't, then it's probably just allergies or a virus. So that was my plan. At this point, Mark is still not asleep, and neither is Nate. So normally when Nate wakes up in the middle of the night, I give him a second dose of melatonin, and it usually works. Sometimes I have to give him several doses. Like I'll give him a dose, wait a couple hours to give him another dose if he's still awake. This is not anything new. He does this. He's woken up in the middle of the night his whole life, just various times. So I'm thinking, should I give him melatonin? But I don't want him to throw up. He hasn't had anything to eat or drink since he threw up. So I kind of waited on that. Mark was crying at this point, so I give him some Motrin because I'm thinking it's probably his teeth, because he has like his hands to his mouth and stuff. So I give him Motrin. He's still upset. I decide I'm going to rock him in the recliner in the living room just so he doesn't keep crying and waking up Nate, who's right next door. I'm sorry that this story is so twisty and turny. I don't even know if you're going to be able to follow this, but I think a lot of you will. So I get him in the recliner and he's just like, Mama, hi, and wanted to get down and play, like acting totally fine. And so I held him for a minute. I was trying to rock him. It wasn't happening. So he just wanted to play. I'm like, okay, you're going back to bed because we're not getting up playing at 1 in the morning, whatever. So around 1:30 or so, Mark goes back to sleep. And I'm like, okay, we got one down. I go in Nate's room and I said, do you want some juice? Because I thought, well, if he is thirsty, maybe he'll be able to keep down the melatonin because I mix it with juice. And he said, yes. And so, I also thought, like, what if he has a headache? Was that why he's awake? Or, so then I'm thinking, like, I for sure want to get him tested. So I was glad I had made that appointment because he didn't seem bothered. He's just in there talking and whatever. So I gave him some melatonin around 2 and waited. And waited. I didn't want to go to sleep because I just wanted to know when he went to sleep. I kept trying to go to sleep and then he would like get up or something. So I was like, I need to just stay awake. So I like tossed and turned, like just trying to, like I looked at my phone and whatever. I just tried to make sure he went to sleep. And he didn't need another dose of melatonin. Anyway, it was like 3:30, 3:45 before he finally went to sleep. He was up from like 11:30 to like 3:30. So he finally falls asleep. I, at this point, am so wired from everything. It takes me to like 4 a.m. to go to sleep. Okay, so everybody's asleep and I'm going, okay, if we're going to get COVID tested, I probably can't or don't need to send Lucy to school, because we had told Lucy, like, Nate just has a stomach virus. You probably need to still go to school if she had no symptoms at all. But then once I had all this COVID panic, I thought, well, we probably need to keep her home till we get our test results. So that means our bus that normally comes at 7:30 is going to be here, and I don't have a way of contacting them. Okay, so I'm going to sleep at 4 a.m. thinking I need to set my alarm to get up and talk to Nate's teacher and see if they can get in contact with the bus and tell them the kid's not going to be there and all of that. Because I'd already talked to her the night before and just said, oh, Lucy's will be there, but Nate's sick. So I set my alarm for like 6:30. I knew I wasn't going to get up at 5 after just being asleep at 4. So, because I've been trying to get up early. That's not happening. Okay, I know this video is getting long. I'm going to try to make the rest of the story short, but we still got a lot left. Okay, so I wake up at 6:30. Everybody's still asleep. I bless Nate's teacher. I know she wakes up really early. She tells me she wakes up early. And I know they're at the school early anyway. So close to 7, I message her and say, you know, what the plan is. We're going to go get tested for COVID just to be safe. I'm going to keep Lucy home until we get those test results just to be safe. And so is there any way you can help me tell the bus driver not to come, basically, because I would hate for them to come and then be like, oh, they're not coming. So she was trying to radio the bus drivers, and finally she gets a hold of them and tells them. So like, okay, great. I almost was back asleep for a little while, and then everybody started waking up, so I got up. And y'all, by the morning, Nate acted like he hadn't been sick at all. Like I kept asking him how he felt, and in his best Peppa accent, he says, I feel better. And I'm like, okay. So he ate breakfast, he jumped and played, acted totally fine. And so I'm like, I don't know. But you know, you hear like COVID, the kids don't even have to have symptoms. So it's like, okay, we're still going to get you tested. At this point, I've told your teachers and all that. So I know we're going to probably need a negative test to be able to allow to come back. So his appointment, the place didn't open until 11. Our appointment wasn't until 11:30. I start preparing him in the morning of what's going to happen. We watch a video. Y'all, autism life is different than, like with Lucy. If this was to happen to her, I could take 5 minutes, tell her what was going to happen. She wouldn't be thrilled about it, but I would be able to reason with her. There is no reasoning with Nate. So medical things are hard. So it took a lot of effort and energy, but we watched videos. I talked to him about what was going to happen with the test. We practiced with Q-tips. He was not into it at all, which I don't blame him. It's very invasive, and like he doesn't even like people looking in his ears. That like the doctor checking his ears is like a whole huge ordeal. And when he was little, I could just hold him down. He's 9 now, and he is strong and big. It takes like 5 people to hold him down. So this place we were going was not like a children's place. Like it's just a regular testing site. And I'm like, I don't know how much they're gonna be able to really help me hold him down. So I'm talking to him and talking to him. It finally becomes time to go to the place. We walk in, there's people everywhere. And it's like one of these deals, like take a number and sit down and we'll be with you. And I'm going, but I have an appointment. Well, there was nobody to ask that and tell that. So we sit down. There's people coughing and hacking everywhere, and I'm going, oh my gosh. Like, we have a mask. Thank goodness Nate started wearing masks, because I was like, put your mask on real good. Like, of course, this is like COVID 101 here. Like, there's people everywhere coughing and hacking. And I'm going, oh my gosh, we're going to get COVID being in this place. But what can you do, you know? I know that there's drive-up places, but there wasn't anywhere near us that had like an availability. So we're waiting, and it's like, I really quickly realized like our number is over 10 people away from being called up. And they said like, if you have an appointment, you could bypass all of this, but there was nobody to talk to tell like we have an appointment. But they would come get you and take you back. So I'm sitting with Nate, and I'm going, oh my gosh, we are going to be here forever. He's starting to get upset. Like, when you have an autistic kid, like waiting it really can derail you. Like waiting at the dentist, waiting at a haircut, waiting can really derail you, because you've hyped them up, you've talked about it, and then you go in and you have to wait. I know it sounds like no big deal to a lot of you, but it is a big deal when you are an autism parent. To like waiting, it really gets them more upset, and then it's bad for everybody. So I hear this man come in about 15 minutes after us, and he gets somebody's attention in the back and was like, I have an appointment. And they were like, okay, just wait right here. I grabbed Nate and I went and stood 6 feet from that man. And when they came out and he said, I have an appointment, I'm like, so do we. I felt like so rude. But I was like, we got to get this done. And so she was like, well, who was here first? And I said, well, he can go first. That's fine. I just wanted to let you know we have an appointment. So she got the man's done, and like it's all happening pretty like out in the open. Like you're in like a little enclosed area, but it's really everybody can see you. So I'm like, Nate's watching all of this, and it's our turn. So I told him, let mommy go first. You can watch me, and then, you know, then they'll do you. And so he's sitting in my lap. The lady comes and she's like, this is not the kind that has to go real far. It just has to go like inside your nose, like swirl around on both sides, which thank goodness, because I've had the other kind where it has to go really far up for like 15 seconds on each. That's just I knew we wouldn't be able to do that with him. So she puts it in my nose, and Nate immediately grabs her hand and like yanks it out of my nose. And I'm like, nobody, no. And so I kind of hold his hands down, and she finishes mine. And I'm thinking, oh no, this is not good for Nate. So I tell the lady, I'm like, he has autism. I've prepped him, but I'm not sure exactly how well this is going to go. Of course, I don't want to say that like right in Nate's face, but I wanted her to know like what the situation was. And she was so nice. It was like this grandmotherly type. And she's like, that's okay. And she started talking to Nate about what he was going to eat for lunch, and we were talking about like that kind of stuff. And it came time for his test. I have an now he's big, y'all. He's almost like, he comes up to here on me now. So it's not like I'm holding a little child. I'm holding him, and he's lanky and he's big. And I hold his arms. I wish I had him here too. I'm holding his arms down, and I'm holding his head kind of like with my head, like his head's here, and I'm like holding it. And I'm thinking, okay, I've got a pretty good grip on him if she could just get it in his nose. Well, then he starts taking his leg and like he wasn't kicking her, but he was trying to push her off of him. And I'm like, oh no. So then I take my legs and wrap them around him, and I'm like full on bear hugging him, and he is strong, real strong, and he's fighting me. She gets it in his nose, and he's like bucking and everything. We finally get it done. Like I'm sweating. He's all red, I'm red, and we're like, whew. So we get done. They were so nice. Both of the ladies in there were so sweet to him, and everybody in the waiting room, you could tell they all felt compassion after that. It was pretty funny. But I told him he could pick lunch, and she said that our results would be texted to us like 15 to 45 minutes later or something. And so we went and he asked for McDonald's, which was weird because he normally will not eat anything from McDonald's, but that's what he wanted. And I was like, okay. So we went and got lunch and came back home. But before we could even get home, our results came in. And mine came in about 15 minutes before his, which was weird, but mine was negative. So I kind of figured that because I've had allergies and, you know, all of that, but you never know. So and I have been vaccinated, but again, you never know. So mine were negative. I'm like, okay, one down. And then we got his results, and he was negative. And I'm like, shoo, shoo. So there's my story of yesterday and how Nate got COVID tested, and the fun time it was. It was really funny. And like, there's so many times with him, like all you can do is laugh. All you can do is laugh and just do your best and just try to share the story. So if any of you have to take your autistic child to get COVID tested, maybe you just know that you're not alone. Actually, the worst thing we have to do with him is a dentist visit, and that's coming up in about a month. And it's a new dentist that has to learn him because we moved since the last time. If I were to tell you I wasn't nervous, I would be a big fat liar. Like, I'm very nervous about it, but we did find a place that offers sedation and different options. So I'm cautiously hopeful, but that was our day yesterday. And then we came home and he acted completely normal, totally fine. So they're back at school today. We've had no more tummy trouble. He was symptom free for over 24 hours, all the things. And I had to send the school a negative test as proof that he was okay. And we survived that experience. But I know there's a lot of you out there that have sick kids, or you yourself have COVID, and I'm so sorry. I have friends and family that have it right now, and my thoughts and prayers are with you. I thought you guys would want to hear the story, and that was my day and night. And so I'm very tired. I'm a very tired lady today, but I wanted to just vlog this story and tell you how it went when Nate got COVID tested. And I ate McDonald's after because I burned a lot of calories in that 5 minutes of dealing with it. But Anyway, it was really funny. And we're really grateful for our healthy kids. We really are. So if you like this video, you want to see more chatty stories, I do want to still tell you guys the story. A lot of you said you haven't heard it, of when Nate broke his arm when he was 4. That's a good story. I think I'm past the complete, what would I say, like PTSD from all of that experience. It was really scary. So maybe I can do that story time next. But anyway, that was yesterday. So we're a lot better today. If you guys like this, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Please subscribe if you're new, and we'll see y'all later.